Hi everybody, I am Joel Manning, and today it is my absolute pleasure to be having a chat with the Empress.
Actually, it's supposed to be there though.
My bad. Usually accustomed being in this chair, so I guess old habits die hard.
Alright, let me switch.
Yeah, let me do this. Alright, this feels a little weird here now. Hey guys, I'm Joel Manning, and we're getting on.
I think this is gonna be fun. So yeah, I am the interviewer this time. He did just want to steal my spot for a second, and I get to ask Joel all these fabulous questions about his life, what he's been doing on social media, all these sort of things. But before we even get there, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be watching this and be like, "Who's this Joel Manning that she bringing here?" So if you could describe yourself, how would you present yourself to the world? Because you're a motivational speaker, you're on Twitter doing some comedy, you're an MC/host, the list goes on and on and on. But how would you describe yourself?
Joel, who is Joel Manning? I am just your everyday lad enjoying life. Like, that is my sentence there, the end, TM, yeah.
Trademark.
Yeah, that's it. That's
I like
it.
how he said lad though.
Yeah,
I am the lad.
I'm just a lad, a regular lad, living and enjoying life.
Now, some of the stuff you've been doing on social media has been gauged towards, I guess you can say, social commentary. Why you decided to go in that route?
To be honest, it just happened.
Okay.
Because for me, beginning, I always wanted to make sure people took me seriously. So even though ideas for social commentary like that were in the back of my head from, I guess, birth, because naturally I just thought pure nonsense. I never took that route at first. So I started a very strict professional route, being a speaker, being a presenter, so that people took me seriously.
Okay.
But then COVID happened. I on a flight back home, trying to figure out what gonna happen with the rest of my life, and it just happened.
Okay.
So I just randomly, well, I always said I would never make TikToks. I don't like TikTok. Like, it don't necessarily fit like what I
For
do,
you,
my
okay.
brand. Like, I don't see how I could contribute on TikTok. Then at 1 o'clock in the morning, I made a random TikTok, post it, and then all of a sudden I wake up in the morning and I see people comment and like it. I say, "You, all right, not bad." So then I guess it just trickled down from there, because the first thing I did was a reenactment of CBC.
Yeah, I remember that.
After that, I said, well, if I'm going to keep doing this, I want to do it that I actually contribute something. And that's when I then started turning into news, posting it on Twitter. And yeah, that is how it happened.
I more know you from way before when you were doing motivational speaking and stuff like that. But why you decided to get into communication?
Life put me there. Like, all I do is talk. Like, if my mother, or rather, she actually just did an interview with me the other day, and she told the truth. Like, all I did from birth is talk. So coming through reception and preschool,
Wow.
too talkative on my reports. Primary school, too talkative. Secondary school, too talkative. Even university, too talkative. Like,
Wow.
I just enjoy talking. I enjoy language. I enjoy words. So starting off on my path, coming through school, it was like, I want to probably get into law.
Okay.
Then I was like, I really feeling this, because it doesn't actually feel creative when it comes to law. So then it was that I'm going to be a writer, and I started writing, and I have literally quotes going back on my phone from like 2010.
Wow.
Whenever I first got an iPhone and I had notes, I started writing quotes, and I just obviously transferred them from each phone going forward. So I have quotes going back on my phone, and I have little short plays and all that kind of stuff. And I guess it just developed from there until I got platforms to actually talk. I think back in 2000 and maybe 14, 15 was the first time somebody ever hired me to speak on camera. I forgot to turn on the microphone for 3 interviews. I call people wrong names. I get one interview right that day. But they made the mistake and hired me again to talk, and it blossomed from there. So really and truly, it's just been a development of my life going forward. I mean, just putting my passion, which is talking, to good use.
I get what you're saying, because sitting down talking with somebody and actually being interested in who they are and finding out what they've done, like their life story, to me, I find that really interesting.
It is.
So
I like doing those kind of features too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
yeah.
he's sitting on that shit.
You go drawn over this side. I get you, man. I get you. What were some of the more memorable moments you've had as an MC?
It was the Miss Teen Barbados Universe pageant.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a very a big one for me at that point in time, because of the fact that I think it had come after a long break of actually hosting or emceeing any type of events other than, you know, a couple small rooms, etc. And just walking up, like the most I enjoy, or rather the one thing that I enjoy about emceeing and hosting is walking up the steps at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, because just feel an energy inside. Like that is the biggest moment for me. Like literally climbing those stairs is like, yeah, this is about to happen. Thing is, you get the lights, you can't see nothing, and you just feel the energy.
You really just can't see nothing. Like you feel your break.
And I felt that for sure walking up onto that stage, and like it just played back the words. Like my open, like that day everything just went right. My opening lines, my everything, because I'm not somebody who like rehearses lines. Like I would know naturally the direction that I want to take it in, but that day everything clicked. Oh, another one, the first online one I ever did in terms of the pandemic. It was for a company, Caribbean Jobs. So it was their anniversary, and this now was the biggest Zoom room I've ever been in. I was trying to wrap my mind around how on heaven's earth like I am going to MC this thing, because it's like you can't necessarily get much feedback from people there without interruptions and what's not. And it was a challenge, just trying to seamlessly go through it back and forth, engage the audience, but somehow it came off. So that also stands out in mind, because it was like I love social media, but I hate social media.
Same.
Because it's like it allows you to connect and be seen and reach, but at the same time it inhibits and limits what you're able to do on a platform.
I get what you're saying in terms of the social media, and even trying to be an MC in Barbados is so hard. Like Bajan audiences are very hard to win over, and sometimes you're not even sure if they're either A, paying attention, or B, even like you. Like, what were some of the things that you've learned to warm up a Bajan audience, and things that you probably would never do again?
Thankfully, I've never had any true bad experiences.
Really?
Honestly, I am
You have some good gigs, man.
Yeah, like for me, I don't necessarily go into that warm up kind of vibe per se. Like especially because I was doing a lot more speaking in terms of presentations as a speaker before I actually did a lot of emceeing. And that really prepared me. So in terms of speaking, I always thought that maybe I should have icebreakers and all that kind of jazz. And then I think I probably did that once and I never did it again. I mean, the icebreaker went well, but to me, it was not genuine in terms of the moment that I wanted to create. And from then I never did another icebreaker. So people say, you know, you want to do an icebreaker, this or what. And it's not like I don't think they work. Like, it's just that you have to know yourself and what you're trying to do. So for me personally, I don't like those kind of things. So I jump straight into it. And for me, I get to an area early, I sit down in the audience, I feel out the energy of the room, and then I take that onto the stage. So people will be like, yeah, he did not say no, hey, what you doing, that kind of thing, you know? I talk to people, I help them move the chairs, I sat, you know, because I want to feel what is going on. Because at any given time that I talk, I need to connect with my audience. Like, it has nothing to do with me. Like, as much as I love to talk, funny enough, I realize the less you talk as an MC or speaker, sometimes the better you actually are, because you're literally just connecting moments that are happening.
You've ever had any mentors before? Because I know one of the main mentors that people would have run to or asked advice was probably Matt Fingal. But is there anybody you've worked with or you might want to work with in future? Because Matt is, he has...
Coming up in the industry, I'll be very honest, it was extremely hard for me to get the advice that I wanted from people when I was first starting out. Like literally, I wouldn't say I fell flat on my face, but it was a struggle to get started, because I literally had to end up saying, well, you know what, it was myself and a friend, and we say, you know what, we can do this. So it started with a show called Crosstalk that I did online. That was my first thing, and I was hoping that it would have been something completely different to what it was, but I guess I just need to do it. So when I first started out, I just did it. So I've looked up to people like Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey. Kevin Hart more so for ambition in terms of what he's been able to achieve in his career, and then Steve Harvey because of his story and how he started and the opportunities that he took to get where he was. Then after that, I was actually able to connect with Kurt Brown.
Okay.
So I'm somebody who sends a million messages. Like up to this day, I can shoot you emails, I can shoot you messages and let you know, all right, this is what I think could happen, this is where I think we could go, this is how I think I can contribute, this is what I think I can learn from you.
Okay.
And Kurt Brown was somebody who actually responded to one of my messages. He said, yo, sure. And he took me then to a couple of his gigs. I think it was about like 2015, 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, he would take me to a show that he used to host every Wednesday night and Friday night as well. So he would say, come down and you could be here and you can learn. And I was honestly extremely grateful for that, because he's one of the few people that actually then took time out to say, you know what, I really ain't got nothing to gain in terms of monetary from this young man being around me, but I can still bring him along, advise him and let him see what actually happens in the industry. And then one night I was actually able to get my chance on the stage, and one night that he was not able to actually make it, he called and said, yo, are you there? I said, yes, I am. All right, tonight you're gonna host this show. And I was eternally grateful for that moment, because there are times when you tell yourself that you are ready for things, and then you get on stage, it's like, yo, whoo, this is a different kind of feeling, a different kind of energy, but you still need to have it happen.
Yeah.
And so that moment happened, and it is just, really cemented in my mind, all right, this is how things should go. And because of that also, I make sure that whenever somebody reaches out to me, I provide not only just information but my time, because that's what's really valuable and that's what I appreciated. So I want that somebody appreciates that as well. Then there's Tracy Hyland. She gem, love her to death. Tracy took me under her wings from a PR standpoint, because it's all conversation at the end of the day. And she has mentored me, and she has provided opportunities for me. A lot of the jobs and what's I've been able to take advantage of have come through Tracy. And it's just been an amazing relationship that we've been able to build over the years. It was literally one of my first major gigs as a journalist that I met Tracy. We were at a hotel, and it was a conference, and I was introduced to her. She said, send me an email. That's what I love to hear. Send me an email with your portfolio, we can have a conversation. I sent her it, and the thing about it is that, like I said, many people is just, say, send me this, whatever, but don't respond to you or whatever, because like your little boy coming up, But she responded to me. She said, all right, well, I'm at this stage that, it can't be anything full time or whatever, but if you're willing to come along, sure, yes, I'm coming. Like any day. And it has blossomed to the point that I love Tracy, man. Like, truth. Like, yeah. So
Tracy's a sweetheart, though.
She is, but those are two people who have given me their time, and I could not be where I am today and who I am today in this industry without them. I just have people who I put on a ruler that I call my benchmark, and I call it a benchmark because I want to get past, I want to surpass where they're at in terms of the mark that I see them at. So Simon Sinek is somebody who allowed me to develop a lot of my speaking presentations.
Okay.
So for me, I talk a lot about branding in terms of my presentations that I do, and it's know your brand, know why your brand exists, invest in your brand, sell your brand. But I was watching a talk from Simon Sinek a day, and he was who really talked about the why and understanding your why, and all that kind of stuff. And that's really what allowed me then to finish my presentation, because because my presentation was like this 5-minute presentation on knowing your brand, knowing who you are, and loving that. But then from the time I heard him talking about why, it just connected all of the dots for me. The fact you're going to invest in your way, all that kind of stuff. So Kurt Brown, Tracy, and Simon Sinek, 3 people that I have as pillars in this little journey life.
One thing that always jumps out at me is that you have a really beautiful blend of being comedic and giving somebody that, what's the word I'm looking for, that when they see you, they want to see more. But when you catch them, you give them a lot of information as well, especially with the videos like on Twitter, etc., and TikTok, and you're able to capture that and keep people engaged. How do you find merging the two together? Because it's not easy.
Personally, I think it's just my personality. Like, that is who I am. So my platforms are literally me. Every time somebody talks about separating my platforms and having a different page with certain things, I say I understand why certain people need to do that because of the industry that they might be in. But every time I talk or do something, I want there to be a level of action. I just want you clap and smile at me, and that is it. I want that you either go home and tell your mother about this presentation, you write down quotes. Like, that is something that really pins on me. When somebody comes back to me years and say, yo, I wrote this down. Like, this girl, she commented on my post the other day, and I did BCC's convocation. I was their featured speaker for that. And last month or a month before, she wrote under a post, yo, like, whenever you're serious, like, I love it, because I remember quotes from back in 2018 that I have for you.
Wow.
That lets me know I had an impact. That lets me know I did something. But my comedy still is to do something as well, inform you, challenge you, to make you go and look it up to see, because like, I can never give you the full news story. Like, I want that you go and you finish reading it, you know, do something out of that. But in everything that I do, it is me. There are times when I get sidetracked and I try to do it for the concept of going viral. And literally, I have deleted things within 30 minutes or because I don't like them. I don't love them. They don't feel like Joel Manning. It feels like I've done it for somebody else. So everything I do for me first, because I need to know that I am not just doing this to please other people and to get their likes or to get their attention or to get their praises. I want that I am satisfied with every single piece of content, every word that I put out. So it comes naturally because I am just simply trying to be Joel in everything.
Why do you think that people need comedy? Is it something that's needed to be done for us to ingest this information, or it's just our culture? I don't know.
Comedy provides an interesting way to get messages across, because I don't know, the thing about life is that life hard,
Yeah.
you know, and news is be hard too, you know, and sometimes you just gotta like make things palatable, I guess. But in a way, it's also how people think. You know, like, comedy is literally what a lot of people think but are afraid to say. That's naturally why, that's why people connect to it so much. That's why some of the simplest comedic lines have the greatest impact, because it's that thought that I just think that every single day. I just thinking that bike line. You know, all these different things. So I guess it's really, like I said, just that moment that you've thought, but you didn't have the confidence to say or to write down, that somebody else said for you, and you connect to it. And that's why it's needed, because they express your thoughts for you, and by them expressing their thoughts, it almost gives you permission to express how you feel about the situation, and, you know, almost de-escalate what has actually occurred and what has happened. Don't get me wrong, you still need the very serious side of things, but the very light-natured end of it, I guess, is just what you need at the end of a very long day when you probably think you ain't get paid enough. You know, like, it's just that thing that is needed. I never aim for 100% in terms of people who will interact, engage. Like, I don't care about 100%. And the thing about it, I care about one.
Same.
Because that's it. If one person has enjoyed this, if one person can take away something from it, if one person is challenged by something I do, I've had an impact. I have done something good in my day, and I translate that across everything. So it doesn't matter if I got an audience of 5 people that I talking to, my energy is the same. If I got an audience of 1,000, my energy is the same, because it's like, it's about that impact. And if I could get if I could get 90%, sweet, I earn my money today. But if I could get one person that comes up to me and say, yo, I appreciate that, I love that, thank you for doing that, you know, then it's had an impact. And that is what comedy does. There's a market for everything.
But how have you been doing in this entire, I don't even know what to call it,
Panini? I've dealt with it in stages. To be honest, when I first came back home, because in the UK studying, I came back home. When I first came back home, I was a mess, because I did not know what on earth to do and where my life was going. Like, I saw things going a completely different path, and it's like, crap, I gotta start over again. And the first couple of weeks were extremely hard for me. Then that's when I found the comedy pieces, and that's when I started doing those, and those helped me a lot more. I started doing a lot because it's like, yo, this is my escape. This is my, all right, things aren't normal, but I'm going to create this as my normal. Then it got to a stage whereby I stopped watching all the press conferences. I stopped plugging to news, and I just disappeared off of social media for a couple weeks, because I just needed that absolute break. Because even though I was enjoying making the videos, I was still consuming the news, and I just needed to take that break for myself, mentally, personally, because it's like, yo, all right, just relax. Like, because at the same time I was starting to pressure myself, because it came to the end of the year, it's like, crap, I doing these videos, but like, where am I personally as a speaker, as a presenter? Like, where am I going? What am I doing next? and I needed to stop flooding my brain with that. So I just plugged out everything. I stopped applying to all the jobs. Like, I just put life on pause, and I was at the beach reading every morning, you know,
good.
like just de-escalating my life. So like I took it in stages, still taking it in stages all now, but I would say that I've gotten a lot better as the stages have progressed, because I've begun to understand what I need for myself personally, mentally, to be okay in this new space that we're calling life.
The legacy question is just basically, I want to know my personal maliciousness. What is it that you want to be remembered for, or what is it that you want to leave behind?
It's an interesting one. What do I want to be remembered for? I guess just somebody who had an impact. Like, I was talking today and I said, yo, like, if I die today, I guess I could be happy. Like, I have not ticked off the boxes of everything that I want to do in life, but I had an impact.
Yeah.
Because I could look back and I could know that there are people who will carry forward things that I have said to them, and they could then continue to, you know, challenge generations through them. So one thing I want to be remembered for is impact. That, you know, the words that I have said on this earth were not wasted. The actions that I have, you know, completed on this earth were not wasted. The time that I've spent was not wasted. So one thing I want to be remembered for is, and it took me a very long while to get to this stage of my life, because at the beginning of it, I was somebody who enjoyed the spotlight. I wanted to be that center of attention, not because of impact, but because I felt like, yo, everybody gotta see me, everybody gotta hear me. And then there was a moment in life that just took away that spotlight from me, and it made me start back from ground zero. And that's what allowed me to appreciate then this spotlight, because the spotlight is not necessarily about Joel Manning, but it's about what I actually say or do in this spotlight. Because like, it's not a case now of I want to be here for me, but life puts me here.
So before we go, tell us where we can find you. You've mentioned TikToks, you've mentioned Twitters. Are there Instagram handles, emails, address for jobs so that he can get paid? Okay.
Alright, so you can find me at Joel MPM on Instagram, Joel MPM on TikTok, and my Twitter gets suspended, so it's no longer Joel MPM, but Joel MPM1. And I ain't do nothing, but Joel MPM on everything, and Joel MPM1 on Twitter. Email address, you can find it in all my bios, joel.m.p.manning@outlook.com.
I have questions. Who still use Outlook?
Me.
Well, guys, this is where we're going to be wrapping up for this interview. As always, you can go and check us out on GineOn.com. You can check us out on Instagram as well, at GineOn.com. That's WUH. Right? So some people spell it with WA. But we're also on Twitter as well, so you can check us out there. Sometimes we have some very informative discussions about cultural activities and things that are going on. Or you can just send us an email at GineOn.com as well if you want to reach out. I am your host and the co-founder, surprise, surprise, of GineOn.com. I hope to see you somewhere sometime soon. Later, guys.